Our next speaker, Mr. Jeff Reichman, when something innovative is happening in Houston, there's a good possibility that Jeff Reichman is a part of it, or his friends, or the people who are. Raised in Philadelphia, but is good and native to Houston, Jeff consistently advocates on civic issues, particularly those related to data, technology, and civil liberties. Today, he's advocating on an issue many of us have heard a lot about in the last 2 decades. Get ready for a ride through the criminal justice system through the eyes of, of the arrested, and welcome to the stage, January Advisors founder, Jeff Reichman.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say that I am not a lawyer and I have no direct experience with this. So this is a difficult story for me to tell, so I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm good to go. My name is Jeff Reichman and I'm here to talk to you about what happens in Harris County when you get arrested for marijuana. And I'm not just talking about marijuana in general, I'm talking about low-level marijuana offenses. What are low-level marijuana offenses? Well, we're talking about possession of marijuana that is less than 2 ounces. It's considered a Class B misdemeanor, which means that you get arrested for it. And it's punishable by up to 180 days in jail or up to 2 weeks or up to $2,000 as a fine. And that's kind of difficult, right? That's a pretty harsh penalty when you think about it. And if you think that, you're not alone. There's lots of people on all sides of the aisle that say nonviolent drug offenders are clogging our prison systems and that we're putting them alongside people who are actually dangerous criminals or with mental health issues. So what happened? Back in 2007, the Texas legislature passed HB 2391, also known as Cite and Release. It says that if you have less than 4 ounces of marijuana, it can be downgraded to a Class C misdemeanor. You can get a ticket, you show up to court later, and you're on your way. Our now former district attorney, Devin Anderson, instituted our First Chance Prevention Program, which is a diversion program that was mandatory for law enforcement officers to offer first-time offenders in the beginning of 2016. But I did the math. I looked at the arrests, and I found that over 1,000 people in Houston were arrested in the first half of this year for low-level marijuana offenses. What gives? What's going on with that map? So I started digging into it a little more, and what I found was that the people who are arrested, these are their home addresses, 98% of them live in working class and middle class neighborhoods. Less than 2% live in upper middle class or what we would call rich neighborhoods. There is a class divide in who gets arrested for this. So let's talk about the Houston Police Department for a moment. I love the Houston Police Department. They're doing their jobs. They arrest you for weed, you're taken to city jail. And if you have $500 to spare, you can bail out. They're going to look after you've been arrested to figure out whether or not you qualify for that first chance diversion program. But for most of us, if not all of us in this audience, the story ends there. But what happens if you don't have $500? What happens if you're living paycheck to paycheck? What happens if you simply can't come up with the money? You get transferred here. A lot of us know this building. It's right around the corner here. It's Harris County Prison. And you're going to sit there in Harris County Prison until you get, it's right there, until you get a pretrial hearing. Those pretrial hearings happen every 6 hours, but it's pretty busy in there. So you might be waiting a while. And they don't care if you got to go to work. They don't care that your kids got to get picked up from school. They don't care about any of that, those issues that people living paycheck to paycheck face. And it's really, really terrifying. When you look at the industries that are created on top of getting poor people out of jail, it's very expensive to be poor in this country. And we have people in gilded crowns offering to get you out. You know, the county can't figure out where you are in that prison, but he will. He'll get you out. So I want to pause here and say, even if you're found not guilty, even if your conviction is overturned on appeal, even if you're never charged, you have an arrest on your record. The next time that you interact with a cop and they pull your background, they'll see that, and you will not get that first chance diversion program. We're at a critical moment in the criminal justice system. We have 2 ideologies in my mind at war. The first is what I would call something like, man, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. And that is police officers and district attorneys sit there and they say, it's our job to enforce the law. It is not our job to make the law. And that is a very important separation of powers in our system. And if you want the law to change, you need to write your legislature. You need to make sure that you put pressure on the people who write the laws. The other ideology are the people who say, you know what, I'm going to use my position of power as sheriff, as district attorney, as chief of police to question why this is going on. And I'm going to use my platform to advocate for criminal justice reform. So what do? I don't know. I don't fucking know. This is a crazy week. I'm looking to our leaders. I'm looking to the people I admire for inspiration. I'm trying to figure out what to make out of all of this, whether it's marijuana reform or progressive causes in general. I'm looking to people who can give us facts, people who can tell us what the objective truth is. And we've lost sight of that. And it's really frustrating for me because when you're able to get those facts, when you're able to assemble the truth about an issue, you can become an expert. And once you're an expert, you can become an advocate and you can change the world. It's a phased process. You've got to get educated. But when you are an advocate, when you have achieved Susan B. Anthony level type of advocacy, you truly can change the world. And so I just wanted to say, I wanted to give a shout out to Jay Jenkins of the Texas Criminal Justice Coalition. I am not a lawyer. He helped me understand these issues. And if you care about marijuana reform or criminal justice reform in general, please check out TCJC. Give them $20. Do something to try and make this world just a little bit better. Thank you all so much.